they should have their guns, especially the farmers, the churches, the schools. Because Fulani man has learned to move from place to place with dagger. Not only dagger again, AK-49, AK-47 with guns. So communities, localities, farmers in their various forests, they should have their own guns. We've been debating this over and over and over again. Federal government could not bring it to a point of implementing it. It's right, because it is the kind of thing we need to be at least, discussing in the house over there. It's not all about, doing other, debating on other tribal issues. The issue of security should be very, very paramount in the house. As you can see, the locals, position here should be at least acknowledged, recognized by all the member senators. Because if you are a senator, you should sign gun. You know what I mean? Licensed gun. And even that his senator friend has gun in his house. I don't think armed robbers, kidnappers, or Fulani herdsmen would have that kind of chance, to come into his house and abduct him. They took him away, leaving his family members, stoned till today. They are surprised because they have not heard from him. I think I read it on breaking news. They could not trace his whereabouts today. So the issue of security should be very, very paramount in the house. They should discuss it out, especially in the Niger Delta region, where Fulani, herdsmen have infiltrated the forest over there. In Mbano, this week, we've seen a school, a secondary school in Mbano, that the classrooms were occupied, invaded by the Fulani herdsmen. Those students, they came out protesting with their flag. It's on the internet. They were saying that cow has come in, destroyed their books, destroyed their lab. Just imagine, science lab invaded by Fulani herdsmen with their cows. Those students came out protesting in the town. In Mbano local government in Imo State. I'm talking of Imo State, where you of course know that people over there, they are against Fulani herders. But because of the kind of politics Purpose Odema is playing in Imo State, Fulani herders, they still have say in Imo State. So the level of displacing students in their various classrooms in a community like that in Mbano. So what Nnamdikanu is debating, is coming up with in the house is very, very important. It should be necessitated that everybody in the Niger Delta region, in those localities, they should have their guns, especially the farmers, the churches, the schools. Because Fulani man has learned to move from place to place with dagger. Not only dagger again, AK-49, AK-47 with guns. So communities, localities, farmers in their various forests, they should have their own guns. We've been debating this over and over again. Federal government could not bring it to a point of implementing it. So let the community hunters, vigilantes, villagers, farmers, at least have their own weapons to safeguard themselves. Without doing that, Fulani herdsmen, bandits, they will be having upper hand over them. What about the 23 local governments in River State that were sacked by bandits? In Niger State has occupied the largest military camp in Nigeria. A camp that stretched across 2 local governments in Niger State has been what? Invaded, hijacked by Fulani bandits. And federal government has not done anything about that. Sacking 23 communities in 2 local governments of Niger State. How do you see that? Don't you know that those people, those localities, those communities and local government, they should begin to arm themselves for defense. If Nigeria fails to defend you, defend yourself. Life is very, very important. When you lose it, you have lost it. It is not 2. Life is 1. So if you know that these people that are all over your communities, shooting and killing farmers, killing villagers, community members, do you know what you should do? Defend yourself. Arm yourself in self-defense. It's very important. Federal government cannot do all things by themselves. There are things they don't have to. They shouldn't. They don't have the capability to do. So those ones, Nigerian nationals, citizens, should do it by themselves. Look at local governments in Benue State. How many were killed, abducted? This week, many were missing when bandits attacked those local governments. In Benue State, I'm telling you, the community heads, many people are still missing in that local government in Benue State. I'm telling you. So there is need for this kind of sensitization of Nigerians securing themselves. If you don't secure yourself, Fulani bandits, Fulani killer headers, they will come and do what? Disalive you. They disallowed many community members, many local government indigents in Benue State. As a result of what? They are susceptible to attack. They are not protecting themselves. They
recently they killed 15 people
and complacent.
15 people were killed recently, yesterday in Benue State.
In Benue State. That's what I'm saying. In that local government, they have actually decimated most of them in Benue State, and they are not going to their farmland anymore. Before they could go, they pay tolls to the bandits, because Fulani have occupied almost half of local governments in Benue State. Do you know that Benue State, they have farmland, they build a house in their farmland, they sleep, they stay, they live in the farmlands. So that's why they have upper hand there. They go there, those ones are what? Exposed to what? Vulnerability. They are too vulnerable to Fulani herdsmen who are armed. So this time around, those communities that live in the farmland, they should what? Procure arms and save themselves, protect themselves from incessant attack of Fulani killer headers. We shouldn't be living a life of vulnerability. It is wrong and dangerous. So what Ned Woko has suggested is quite right.
But do you not think they'll start killing themselves? If Nigerians and Biafrans start holding guns, do you not think they'll start killing themselves, unjustly?
No, it is not that way. See, there are vulnerable communities. Communities that are in the farmland should protect themselves.
Right.
Like rural areas, people in the film village in Enugu State. Those film villages in Enugu State are farmland. They are located in the farmland of Enugu State. Those are the people subjected to Fulani headers attack incessantly. Those are the people that should be protected by themselves. Because before you get to the town or place call across to the police stations in Enugu town, Fulani headers would have at least run down the people, kill all of them. But if it happens that they were secured by hunters, let's say vigilantes or ESN, Eastern Security Network, they don't have business with police, because police will just only hear the news that many headers, killer headers, have been at least disaligned by these security outfits.
Yoruba might have stepped on toes, and toes might have stepped on him. It's always been controversy, the way Amana Yoruba died, the way Amana, the Ohanese president, Emmanuel Iwanyan, also died. There has been a lot of eyebrow, on how this man died. We don't know whether this was a direct attack, from the government themselves or the enemies of the Igbo people, But Ekpa Yoruba own has become very outstanding and has continued to cause a major blow, in the psychic of many Easterners, especially people from Anambra State. I will learn that people from his kinsmen are already against him because of the kind of life he lived. Ekpa Yoruba that we used to know, diverted, shaded from the real Ekpa Yoruba that we used to know, under Jonathan, under under Obasanjo. Ekpa Yoruba was an entity that's been seen as a well-known philanthropist. Then in the East, his name is always rings bell. But somehow along the line, since APC came into power, you know, Ifeanyi began to share some of those qualities, some of those things that we know, personality that we found in him. But then notwithstanding, he might be a man with 9 lives. That's like a cat. Maybe the one we are seeing is not the one we are, he is living, you know. So it's very possible. But to an extent, revelations are beginning to emerge. To an extent, the IPOB was being accused that Ifeanyi the burial is supposed to be linked to his jade, is that and that, even though he has come out many times and said clearly that he was never involved in the kidnapping of nnamdikanu in Kenya. Neither his private jet was involved. And remember, you know, he has met a lot of escaped a lot of kidnapping and assassination attempts where his vehicles is being burnt, riddled with bullets, you know, always. So that tells you that there must be something that's going on somewhere, you know. And on the other aspect of it too, he has a running battle with Coach Charis Maduka. I'm talking about Coach Maduka, you know, over an undisclosed, you know, a deal they enter. So if anybody might have stepped on toes, and toes might have stepped on him, you know, at the same time. But the fact is that, you know, the dead should be buried. That is the bottom line of it. And whatever that's happened, Ifeanyi must be buried. You know, the resistance we're seeing, IPOB has come out to clarify that, you know, that they are not holding brief for anybody, and that nobody should blame them, and they are not responsible for the delay of the burial of the late senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Ifeanyi Ubah. But a lot more from his kinsmen has continued to put a very big raise a lot of doors about his relationship with his kinsmen, the Anambra people. And of course, I learned that there are powerful people who are already blocking him from being buried. That means there is more yet to come. Well, whether if Bianco Ojukwu is going to intervene at the national level, that will be a story for another day, considering the kind of relationship they shared even before that appointment. But whatever that is holding Ifeanyi Ubah to this moment, and is something that needs the Ohaneze Ndi Igbo to look into. The Igbo nation, the Igbo intellectuals, the Ohaneze Igbo worldwide, Imo Obi, Ndi Eze, Ndi Ozo, you know, Ozo title holders, both in and outside, should come and look at the reason behind the continuous struggle over where and how to bury Senator Ifeanyi Ubah. Anambra people does not behave like that. Anambra people are people of great culture and tradition. They understand what it means to have somebody like Ifeanyi Ubah dead, you know. And the question surrounding his burial is something that has put a lot of question about the kind of life Ifeanyi Ubah has actually, you know, lived on earth. You know, was it for or against the people? Now, the Biafran quest also, you know, the Biafrans, the IPOBs, and majority of Igbo youth consider Ifeanyi Ubah an enemy of the struggle. That's another factor that's going to play out.
There's a betrayer.
They see him as somebody who betrayed the drive for actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra. That's why they see him. They see him as somebody who betrayed Nnamdikanu. They see him as somebody who manipulated or who was part of the arrangement that brought Nnamdikanu back to the country. They see him as, you know, so many things has been labeled against him. So he cannot be able to escape that tag already. And that is what is playing around in Anambra State, considering the fact that, you know, Anambra State is a major hub of the IPOB. It's a top hub of the IPOB. It's an IPOB clan. It's an IPOB creed. It's an IPOB home. It's an IPOB town, city. anything sophisticated about IPOB, Anambra seems to not be very deep about it. So having that perception about Ifa Yoruba is a deep one, and I think, and that is one of the reasons why this burial arrangement is still being held. But I know that there are going to be serious investigation and revelation before Ifa Yoruba will be buried, because they need to determine the role and so many things and he played in the cause of Biafra agitation. That will determine whether he will be buried or not. The Biafran cause, the role he played, will determine how and where he will be buried. Of course, there has been a long leg thrown to the governor of Anambra State, Soludo, over the issue too. The governor is also consulting deeply with Ifa Yoruba's kinsmen and other big major stakeholders, politically, culturally, and traditionally, including the monarchs, the Ezes, the traditional rulers in Anambra State. They are consulting widely, and the governor is not resting, because they need to find out the cause of the resistance in trying to bury Senator Ifa Yoruba.
Okay, but we saw Ifa Yoruba, employ or work with them local vigilante in Ninewi, for at least for security related issue.
Yes, after there was a massive, several attempts, countless times over his over assassination attempt on him, having to do with a vigilante group, I do not think that media report can be very correct. But what I feel is that he might have alliance, because establishing a vigilante group is a national thing. Every state have it. There's no state that doesn't have a vigilante group. So what I'm trying to say is that they might decide to leverage on the existing vigilante group, to have a sort of security for himself. That should be understood. That does not mean that he formed a security to kill Igbos, to kill Biafrans. We must understand that very clearly. So before then, there was assassination. Bullets were thrown at him at will, at every corner, at every point. So he felt that his life is being threatened, and at that point, he started looking for alternative of trying to provide security for himself. So on that, and people can begin to speculate because of a deep reservation they already have against him. On that note, Ifa Yoruba, where is the security now? Can anybody come out publicly and point clearly that Ifa Yoruba ran his own vigilante group and they were busy killing Biafrans anywhere they find themselves? Who can come and say that that is actually true? Those were perceptions. Those are some of the things his enemies can sit down and manipulate and come up with such propaganda. It happens. He's a politician. He has enemies. But I believe that the Igbo nation knows what to do at the right time. They should look into Ifa Yoruba's case. They should look into what he stood for. They should look into find out actually whether he's culpable. If he's culpable, then they should be able to take decision on that regard. But what I'm saying at this point in time, no matter how you look at it, Ifa Yoruba has come out, he has seen, he fought, and he conquered. Whichever way, if you look at it, he's an Igbo man, and he remained a Biafran, even unto death. Thank you.
The indigenous people of Nnewi have spoke. That is it. They have spoke. Or when they know that they will know the time, they will know the reason now they cannot. Let them very fine Yoruba for Abuja there. Or let them look at the alternative to very fine Yoruba. But they can never bring in Ifa Yoruba in Nnewi. About Ifa Yoruba matter issue. And yes, that's one of the the theories we have in our side called Biafra land. It's one of the betrayal. Where they see that happen. When they see that happen, they ask him. People lament. He denied. He said no. He washed his hand, that his hand is not there. But who?
The airplane that they used to adopt nnamdikanu down to Nigeria here. He owns by Ifa Yoruba. He owns by him. So how can you deny that? It's all those betrayals we have in certain part of the country. I mean, in some part of the country. Most of them, I mean, gradually, they will be raping what they sow, the evil they have sown. How can you open eye because of your selfish interest or because of your, you want to protect your business? Then your father asks you to betray your brother. And you're happy to betray your brother. And you do that, I'm happy. As an Igbo man. As an Nnamdikanu is over there, I'm not happy. I can never be happy. Because nobody that something will happen. Unless the people that not come from that region, or they not born you from that region, that will say, kill him Nnamdikanu. Then we were happy. I'm happy. No. Didn't Nnamdikanu adopt? It's paying me to date. But because of I don't have that power. I don't have that power to penetrate. So what can I do? They hold the yam, they hold the knife. But one day, I think that knife will cut into two. Yes, I didn't hold the knife, you hold the yam and the knife. They can do whatever they like. Then they should remember that is God. I think that should remember that is God. Because you cannot eat your cake and still have it. So what brought the issue? The Nnewi indigene. From Anambra said, that's where I come from. They see the truth. They have seen the truth. Then they say, no. How can you betray my brother? How can you betray our brother? That's why they said no. Until they brought Nnamdikanu out. The hand of enemy. They should bring Nnamdikanu out before they talk about it. If I burial. Because those ones that they are betrayers because of their selfish interest. The hand of the enemy of Nigeria, in the hand of Nigeria. Because they believe they are okay. So what Nnamdikanu is to come money for? It's not useful. Because they are okay. Yes. They are rich. They are satisfied. But what of the common man from eastern part of the country? What of the common people? You are rich. Go to east. What have them provide in that eastern part of the country? Or even one of those things we are talking about, we are clamoring for those seaport or one of them. Why can them force the federal government of Nigeria to put all those things? But no, because they are dancing for them. That's why they can never open mouth and say the truth. So whatever you sow, you reap. If it's so good, you reap good. If it's so bad, such an be you reap bad. That is it. They know about Nnamdikanu adopted. If I know about it. That's why because Nnamdikanu have told them that you people that that is against me are fighting against me. He will be alive. We will be falling. And so they are falling now. Gradually, they are falling. The people that betray our own brother, that took our brother, hand over to enemy. Gradually, they will be raping it. The evil that have done to Nnamdikanu. So that is it. If I ever know about Nnamdikanu adopted, because it was airplane. That they use brought Nnamdikanu down to Nigeria. Yes.
You feel that if I cannot deny, his family cannot deny that
This is the matter come out from the indigene of Nnewi. Where did Fredom come from? Yes. Because it touches everybody. It touches the entire Igbos. Unless the Igbos that unless the ones that they call the Igbo Fulanis. Yes. But the reasonable Igbo man will never be happy with those betrayers and with Nigeria. I can never be happy. That's why you can see that Nigeria is not working.
But some are saying that Uzodinma too, if he's not careful, this type of thing will be foreign.
That is it now. It's one of them. Don't call him Uzodinma. It's also Uzodinma. It's one of them. Because of what they want to eat. They are betraying their own people, betraying their land. Dancing for Fulanis. How can you be dancing for Fulanis? Fulanis that are supposed to come and serve you, dance for you, and you are dancing for them. So many of them that betray the Igbos, that betray Biafra, that betray nnamdikanu. Gradually, the trap, the trap was, holding them gradually, one by one. That's why you see what is happening. You see what is happening in Imo State. You see what is happening in Imo State. The peaceful state so far, before, but look at what Imo State today. It's one of the worst. No peace. You can't work anyhow in Imo State today. But this is they said that Igbos used to proud before because of this wicked soul they call hope of them. He can never eat a cake and still have it. Let him continue. But you should remember that Abuja is not a home. North is not a home. He comes from east. Let him just finish. Then I will know whether you remain from Abuja or you remain from Kano or Kaduna. We will know. Maybe we will not come back to east again. And with his family. Because you get money to be killing your people. That's it for Nigeria government to block the soldiers, military, to come to Imo State, Anambra State, and be wiping up our youth, our mothers, our young ladies, our young boys.